For a car traveling at a speed of 50 miles per hour, the relationship between the distance traveled d and the time traveled t is described by the function d equals 50t, which is true. So, A, the time traveled depends. Okay, so we're using this vocabulary. Remember our little saying that we use? You depend on your parents. You might say you depend on your grandparents, you depend on your uncle, but you depend on your parents. It's just something general that I say. So the letter Y is on the left. We'll say the parents are the X. So you could write it as Y depends on X. So Y depends on X. So instead of having it as D equals 50t, write it in terms of X and Y. So Y equals 50t, or 50x in this case. So we could say that the distance depends on the time. The Y depends on X, the distance depends on the time. During the second week of summer vacation, Ruben practices guitar for 10 minutes less than. Remember what less than is. It's a switch word. So you have to be careful with that. Don't write it as 10 minus. That's going to be automatically wrong. So you have to switch it. Minus 10. Twice. Twice means 2 times something. So 2 times the minutes from the first week. M. So we just match our equation up. They're testing you on the switch word there. Watch that less than. Be careful with that. Not 10m minus 2 or 10 minus anything. What is the equation that passes through this line? Great. They're already all in y equals. I'm going to start with letter A. We're going to type it in the calculator, and we are going to go straight to the table and see if we see those 2 points. Second, go to the table. The first one we're going to look for is negative 1, 4. We see that. And let's see if we see 3, 2. There it is, 3, 2. So our answer is A. Pretty easy, especially when they're all in y equals. Question 4, what is the solution to the following system of equations? A system of equations here. The first one's already in y equals, so you need to put the second one in y equals. And we're going to look for where they cross each other, where they intersect. That's what it's talking about with the solution of the system here. So we're going to move the positive 9 over, becomes minus 9. Bring down your 3y, and then your last step is going to be to just divide everything by 3. And we're going to clean up negative 9 divided by 3. That's easy to do. It's just minus 3 or negative 3. And if you struggle with that, you can leave that fraction just like that. Put it in the calculator. Just put parentheses around it to kind of keep it cleaned up. And the calculator will do all of the reduction for you. So we're going to graph these two, and the solution is where they intersect, where they cross. So there's 2 ways that you can do this. The first way I'm going to show you how to use the second. Go to Calc, find the intersect, number 5, and what it's going to do is it's going to say, okay, on the first curve, it's a straight line, but on the first graph, get close to the intersection and hit enter. On the second one, hit enter. And then on the third time, take a guess, and it'll automatically give you where they intersect. Now, if you forget that, use the trace button. Get the trace button or the trace cursor as close as you can, and you can see it's about 6 and about 7, and that's the answer choice that we ended up with. So trace will bail you out. Number 5, identify the vertex. Ooh, the vertex. There are 2 types of vertices on a parabola. There's a minimum and a maximum. So we're going to type this in and see what we have. If you look here, we have a minimum because that's the lowest point that graph goes. So you could use the trace button and get close, like negative 1, negative 8.9, so negative 1, negative 9. Okay, great. That was pretty easy. But if you want to calculate the actual, value of this, go to the minimum, number 3, under second calc, number 3. You have to get to the left side of the parabola, hit enter. Get to the right side of the parabola, hit enter. And then get right as close as you can to the middle, and it'll automatically tell you what it is.